usually isn't, but some students with connecting like X and Y to input and output is a little bit more difficult for them. Okay. So again, we're going to be doing reading graphs. And this is page 6 in your notebooks. I'm going to pass out tape. De nada.
Gracias.
I know, I got new tape.
I really do. I want a redemption.
I'm going to pass out new notes.
That was so funny.
It was like right at me. Really nice. Not anymore.
Gracias. De nada. Should fit fine. I'm also going to hand out highlighters.
How much do we need?
How much?
You're going to need 3 colors.
Alright, I only need 2 then.
So I'm going to give you guys 3 to share over here.
Alright.
I have my own highlighter.
You have your own? Okay.
I got my own.
Do you have your own?
Hold on. Yellow. I need the yellow. I need the other 2. What did I do?
Alright, so I'm about to make your life even more simpler.
Well, you already made it really simple.
I know. Okay. So in the case where you guys are given a graph of a function,
Do you have
Okay.
a calculator?
no, you do not. Alright. So when you are given a graph of a function, so here we have what type of function?
A linear.
A linear one. It says right up top, linear function. Okay. Can someone read our function equation, Asa?
Half x plus y. 4.
Plus 4, okay? So this part right here is going to be a question on your test on Thursday. You guys are going to have a test on Thursday.
Test? I can handle a test.
You can handle a test, all right? So this, though, instead of just saying fx, it's pronounced f of x. All right, so what I would probably do on top is write f of x. That way it reminds you f of x. Alright, so now using one of your highlighters, we're going to be reading the graph given different inputs. Eyes up here. Given different inputs, and then also later on given different outputs, okay? So we're going to be finding the missing part of the coordinate, or the point, essentially. So I'm going to start modeling on this one for the first couple that we're going to highlight, and then we'll take away the highlighters, and you guys will be doing it as you would normally, okay? So I'm going to take my first highlighter color, and I'm going to highlight f of 5. Like so. And then, so this number inside the parentheses, what variable is it replacing? X or Y? X, okay? So this is also known as X. You can use your pencils to write that in, so X. So essentially, I'm looking for what the Y is now. So I'm going to find where X is equal to 5. So which axis do I need to be looking at? X. So here's 5 on my X-axis. I mark it a little bit. I'm actually going to draw a line all the way up to my function line, which is that bold diagonal one. So there's my X value, and now I'm going to draw a line from where it intersects to my Y-axis. And I'm going to name this point. I often tell students, if you can name a point, you can read a graph. So what point is this?
5.
5 comma
1, 2, 3, 4. 6.5.
6.5. Good. I'm going to write it as a decimal and put 6.5. So when x is equal to 5, y is equal to 6.5. Good. Switch highlighter colors.
Oh.
So now it says find f when x is equal to -4. So I'm going to highlight this one. And I'm going to find -4. So here's -4. Going up. And then go across. So what is that point that lies on our function line?
-4 or 2.
-4, comma 2. Good.
So is this pretty much for homework? We just do that?
You're doing exactly this, but on your homework assignment. Yeah.
Is it just like
Homework?
This isn't homework, but what you're doing for homework is similar to this. It is this.
do we have to like do the highlighting too?
No, you do not.
Do we have to like do the
You are only writing a single number.
Oh, thank God.
This is the only one I'd be looking for, okay? To connect it all together, though, these points, respectively, are each 5, comma 6.5,
What? Okay. Oh.
and -4, comma 2. Again, you don't have to write those points. I'm just showing you that those are the points that you're reading, all right? So take your last highlighter color. I'm going to highlight F of 10. So now what I want you to do is when x equals 10, what does y equal?
10. No.
So here's 10. So I draw my line up.
8. I would do that on my color sheet.
I connect it to the y-axis. What point is that?
9.
9. So when x equals 10, y equals 9. So my point is 10, comma 9. So now, only using your pencils.
How do you do 0?
When does x equal 0?
0? It's like 0 something.
So where is 0 on your x-axis?
Right there.
Okay, so where does it connect with your bold diagonal line?
And
Here's 0, you said, right?
oh, 4. Wait, are you sure to do the other way around?
Yep. I am. Of course I am.
So we really don't need to know the fx half x to 4.
Can you rephrase that?
A half x plus 4. We don't need to know like the f of that.
No, you don't really need to know the equation. You're
Oh.
just looking at the graph, okay?
Okay. So for homework, it's still not line.
It's still going to have the line, yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm going to switch this over now, just so I can sit. Alright, so now instead of having, actually we said f of 0 was equal to what?
4.
Alright, so now instead of having the x value be given, now we have the y value be given. So instead of starting at the x-axis, where are we starting?
The y.
ASAP. The y-axis, okay? So for f of something equaling -1, I need to find -1 on the y-axis. So again, I always start at the origin and I go down 1. So here is where y equals -1. For some people, putting in a dotted line helps.
Oh, so it's 10.
Positive or negative 10?
Next.
-10. Okay, so when x equals -10, y equals -1. Find the missing x value for when y equals 5.
Y equals 5. Then it goes down 1.
So again, it might be helpful to put a horizontal line. So here's positive 5. Where does that bold diagonal line cross it? So this line up top represents y equals 5. Where does my bold diagonal line cross it? Sue? Do you need to ask a question? No?
Won't it be like somewhere
So this is 5. Where does my bold diagonal line cross that dotted line for y equals 5?
negative? I'm not sure.
Jeremy?
6.
Not 6. So
Oh wait.
2.
take a look. So here's my dotted line. Here's my line.
-4?
No. Where does this line cross it?
5.
So what is
It's not
this
exact.
point's name?
2, 5.
2, 5.
Oh, so it's 2.
So it's 2.
Okay.
So y equals 5 when x equals 2. Alright. Now what I want us to do is scroll down. Now we're going to be practicing with the quadratic.
Yes.
Henry, you done? Alright. So, Henry, I filled in the top part of the notes for you. So these can get taped into your notebook. Okay?
And this is,
The challenge problem,
due tomorrow.
check in tomorrow. So just start it tonight. Alright. So now we're at the bottom part of our notes. And Henry has been out taking his quiz. So I'm going to ask you guys, I need someone to give a verbal explanation of what happens when x equals 2 at f of 2. Asa.
2 has to go to origin.
Okay, origin.
Which one would it go to?
So what variable is this replacing?
2 or 2 something.
What variable?
Oh, x.
X, so it has to be along the x-axis.
So is it? Oh, so it's that. It's 2.
Which direction?
Right.
Okay, 1, 2.
Then
This is a tricky one. This is good.
it's like 7 over.
So where do I have to look?
Nowhere.
So I need to see, Henry, eyes up here. I need to see where this bold line, okay, crosses x equaling 2. So here is x equals 2, right along here. Okay. This point is really tricky, actually. I want everyone to look super, super close.
It looks
Oh
like
my
it's
god,
crossing
there's
a
a
3.
little off.
It's a little off, okay? So if you look, though,
So it's
it's a
0.9.
little off at y equals 0 and at y equals 1. So what's the in-between?
1.9. 9.9.
Sorry, I said y equals 0 and y equals 2. What's
I
in
feel like
between?
it's 3 because you look at the line because your line's like not straight over here.
So here's 0, here's 2. What's in between?
1.
1. So this point right here. So if I minimize that,
It's 1.
Oh, it's 1. It's right. Oh, I see it.
it's 1, okay?
What's your x?
So right there. What's a what?
Your x is 2.
Your
And
x
it's 1.
is 2.
Then you have to go up 1.
Yep. Okay. So this right here is our point. So up 1. So when x equals 2, y equals 1. Alright. So now, when f is at -5, now where do I go if I start at my origin?
7.
-5, so that's in which direction, right or left?
Right. Left.
Left. Okay. Starting from my origin, I go to -5. Here's -5. Again, sometimes drawing a line or using your finger So it doesn't cross down here, so I can't go down.
So it's 7.
So I go up
It's
here,
7, 8,
it crosses right here,
7.
which is 7. Okay?
Yeah, math.
So you write 7 there. So if I was to substitute in -5
It's 8.
into my equation, let's do it.
Oh.
Let's try it, okay? So we have x squared, so now I have -5 squared plus 2 times -5.
Could we do that thing with a calculator and just really just do all that?
We could, I'm going to show this one by hand. You could, if you want to type it onto your calculator and double check my handwork, go for it.
No, like, if for like homework, you could just like put on that.
You could.
And do the.
You totally could.
How would you get like 1.5?
I haven't taught you how to do that on your calculator yet. Okay. Alright, so -5 squared gives me 25. Plus, what's 2 times -5?
2 times -5. 10.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. Minus
Could we
10
write that
minus
equation
7.
Too?
Huh?
Could we write the equation?
You can if you want, you don't have to. Okay. What's 25 minus 10?
15.
Someone knew what's 15 minus 7?
6, 7, 8.
8. Is it really? Yes, it is. This is 8.
Oh my god.
I was reading 7, yes. So this point is -5, 8.
I knew it.
And so that's a good system. So now you can double check your work if need be.
I really lost Jeremy.
8. Okay. All right. So now what I would like you to do is independently you're going to do the next 2. Just the next 2.
So next.
2.
Do I make left the tape?
Not right now.
What are we doing? I'm sorry. What's.
Any question?
What are we doing?
So just similar to the first 2 examples, you're finding where x equals 1.5, what does y equal? Using the parabola, the graph.
Parabola.
So Henry, let me ask you this. Where is 1.5 on the x-axis?
It's right in the middle of 0 and 1.
That would be a half. I want 1.5.
Right in the middle of 1 and 2.
Good. So right here. So imagine I draw a line, and now it's touching my function line. Okay? So what is this y value right here?
So, 2.
-2. So -2 is your answer. Okay?
Negative 2.
So for example, Henry, if you could plot this point and name it, so like this point is in 1.5, comma, -2, you can find the answer, okay? All right, now what I want you guys to do is when f equals 0, did anyone find an answer to it?
Yeah.
Asa,
-7.
-7, good, that's this point right here. All right, now, I need your full attention. Exactly, okay? Because this graph has 2 lines that go in the same direction, similar to an absolute value graph, this will also happen, okay? For some outputs, there may be more than 1 input, okay?
What?
So take a look here. F of something equals -8. Where is -8 on the y-axis?
There.
Where's there?
Down.
Down how many?
8.
8. So here, I'm gonna put a different colored line.
How is it more than 1?
It's not. This one is not, but I'm gonna show you one that is afterwards. Okay.
Oh, negative 4 is mine.
So down to -8, what is the x value
8, negative 8.
that makes -8?
Negative 8.
-1, right here. That point is -1, comma -8. But look at the next one. It even asks the question, how many possible answers are there?
2.
For -4. So if I draw a line at -4, here's -4. How many times does it cross my parabola?
2.
Twice. So therefore there are 2 answers. What are those answers?
4.
No.
I'm at 3.
3.
And
Negative
1.
-3
Negative 1.
And 1.
and +1. You do not need to supply both. You just need to supply one in order to earn full credit.
What if you do both?
Then you still get full credit.
You get a bonus point?
Take a substance.
No, you don't get a bonus
Can we
point.
get a fake
Half a
bonus
bonus?
point?
You can get a fake bonus
Can we
point.
get a half a bonus point?
No.
Can you get a fake half
Okay.
bonus point?
All right.
A fake 10 bonus points.
Y'all are ridiculous. All right. So, please,
Please.
Asa, would you collect the tape? Thank you. Put it in this bin when you're done. I'm going to pass out the homework.
Yeah, what is it?
That packet.
No.
Oh,
Oh.
Ow.
Right in my
I'm good,
notebook.
don't worry. I live.
Alright.
That's a packet.
Oh, packets. I like packets.
This is a very short packet.
Oh, you're on the back.
Each of you is going to get assigned an individual kind of amount.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
I want them all.
No, Jeremy.
What?
We're going to do the first one together.
Of course, it's linear. Easy to know.
Would you rather start with the parabola?
Sure.
The one at the bottom?
Sure. It's called a quadratic.
It is, but the shape of the graph is called a parabola.
Sure.
Alright, so we'll start with the U-shaped graph.
Too late.
That's too late.
I don't care. We can do any of these graphs.
Too late. Oh, let's do any then. Let's do. No,
Well,
let's do the first one.
there's this one back here, but there's none.
Oh,
So.
let's do.
Alright, so we'll do the U one.
Let's just do this one.
Alright. So I want you to write EX next to this one as an example.
Why is it?
Dot.
Oh, I don't know why.
Alright, so again, for some of these, there may be more than one answer.
Oh, yeah,
So
I'll
when
see.
X is equal to 2, G of 2, what is Y going to equal?
2 or 1.
2.
2 or negative 2. 2 or 2.
So when
Two
X
or
equals 2,
negative
here's 2.
No, it's 2. It's both
It's
positive.
2.
Then
So
what about on the
here's-
other side?
It's positive.
What about on the other side?
This is the point.
But then,
Both positive. Yeah, 2 and negative.
then you
So, or,
Oh, or negative.
but listen, X has to equal positive 2. X does, not Y. If it's Y equals positive 2, then you would have 2 answers. This one is X. Again, X, this is Y. Okay?
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
So now we'll do negative 2, so take a look at this.
Now that wasn't equal to, no, that's not.
No, that's still 2.
It's still 2. Okay, so here's negative 2, but it still equals 2, so these
Zero's
ones are the
negative
same, okay? When 0 is equal to X,
It can be negative.
Negative 2.
I do negative 2.
You never finished. Gotta be fast.
Okay, so now, this is what you've been waiting for, Jeremy, okay? Which value or values lead to Y being equal to 7? So again, here is 7.
It only equals 1.
Negative 2. I mean,
Oh,
no,
that's
negative
just
2
7.
or negative 2. Or positive 3.
No, wait.
Positive 3
Or negative 3.
or negative 3.
That looks like, oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Okay, so these are both points
Oh.
that have X values that lead to an answer of 7. Okay.
I think I'm gonna have a graphy so we'll find that.
All right.
Are you gonna like come around like circle them?
Yes, I am going to. Let me
Oh,
get a pen.
please make one.
Only have one?
No, I'm just saying that's the damn I have more. Reverse psychology.
Ready? How are you feeling on this?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You get 3 if you get 4.
Okay.
So do you, sir.
Can I start
I
it?
don't know if I do.
It's that first one.
Let's just say I do. Let's just say I do. It's not really, but that's
How are you feeling about this, Henry? Okay. This one. And I'm going to give you this one. Sue, how you feeling?
Oh, no.
Good. So. This one. I'm going to give you this one.
Can I take a picture of the board?
Yeah. And I'm going to give you this one. Okay.
first one. At 3, then go down.
Oh.
That's one.
Oh,
No, it's negative.
Look, my phone.
Wait, what is it?
Go get it.
Second one.
Not right now.
Oh, the
Can you just
second one.
can I get out class early?
Negative
Get out
2.
1 minute early.
Because
Yeah.
I also need to go to homework.
Negative 2.
Okay.
That's not-
Again,
Yes, it is.
not my responsibility. Right?
All we had is